Well, good morning, everybody. It's a little after 6:30. A little later start, but not terrible. But just got dropped off for the last time from a shuttle driver from Salisbury. We're headed north now. We are in Massachusetts, and we are charging forward. So today's hike is planned to be about 18 miles. Actually, it's a little over 18 miles. And we're going to a shelter, and I might even stay in the shelter tonight because I don't know if you can tell, but it rained again this morning, and a little bit more rain is forecasted. I'm carrying my umbrella, so I anticipate the opportunity to get a little bit wet, and I think it could rain again this evening. So I think it might be best for me to stay in the shelter, just not to wake up and have to. There's nothing worse, honestly, having to pack up a wet tent, and then you're putting the wet tent in your pack and carrying it the next day. So if I have the option and I know it's raining, then I'll certainly stay in the shelter. So that's the plan for today. The trail's not going to be too tough, I don't think. We got, I'd say, 2-3 miles of terrain like what we're walking now, kind of flat, and we're actually going to open up into some field walking before doing some climbing. The climbing's not as extreme as it was yesterday, for sure, but there's some elevation gains to be had before heading into that shelter area. So that's the outlook for today. I hope everybody is having a great day, and you're up and going, and you got a big plan for the day, and you're going to make it happen. That's what I'm going to do. So I'll check back with you as we get down the trail. I'm hoping, in fact, I know that there is I gotta get over these rocks. There's a couple of viewpoints, but given the weather, I'm not sure that there'll be much to show. So we'll just take what we get and not throw a fit. So again, I hope everybody has an awesome day, and we'll see you down the trail. Well, we started our field walking. Well, all the grass is just drippy wet. Shoes gonna be soaked, but it is what it is. Cows. I guess I don't speak cow. They're ignoring me. Maybe the skies will lighten up a little bit today, and it'll clear off some here in a little while. Right now we're just going to make it through the tall grass. Man, it'd been awesome if somebody could have run a lawnmower through here a day or two ago. It would have been awesome. Ooh, it's cold too. All right. We'll see you guys further down the path. Well, we've left the field and entered this forest. I am not slowing down because I'm telling you, as soon as I got into this tree line, mosquitoes came after me like kamikaze pilots. So they're gonna get me. They're gonna have to work for it today. It's kind of dark and spooky. Big trees too, big trees. All right, everybody, I found a historical marker. This is the area of the last battle of Shays' Rebellion. It was here in February 27, 1787. Of course, this was after the Revolutionary War. And this was, you can please study up on Shays' Rebellion, but it's essentially a group of regulators that just pop up, you know, that want to keep a new government in check. We had brand new government, state government in Massachusetts, federal government for what was then the United States. And they weren't sure that they were being properly represented. And you had these folks, these locals, who would pop up and challenge some of the local governments in battle because they were convinced that it was still yet a patriotic thing to do, because they still were not properly represented. So that was the work of Daniel Shay, and this was the last stand, if you will, of Shays' Rebellion right here. So feel free to look that up when you have a chance and Google-ate it, learn more. Well, we've encountered our first climb here in Massachusetts. Well, actually the climbs we had yesterday going southbound were in Massachusetts. So our first northbound climbs in Massachusetts. And we got to get up in there. So once we get up the top of this hill, we're going to ridge walk for a little while, drop down and do it again. But we're less than 12 miles now to the shelter. So we're really making great time. It's just, we got some work ahead of us, that's all. All right, I'll see y'all down the path. All right, everybody, we're up on a big rock ledge, and here we have a bit of a view out through there. Although understand we've been getting a rain last night, and some areas around here is getting rain right now, so you know it's overcast, you know, with a fair amount of fog and just clouds. So it's certainly not a beautiful clear day, and still fighting bugs. Pulled up my head net, and it seems to be working fine as long as I don't stop, you know, and they just still collect all over the rest of my body. But we're making great progress today. We're kind of hiking right now at the top of that first ridge I talked about we needed to climb up. And you can see that at some point, probably recently, they've done a controlled burn. So the entire forest is green. It's just the underlying, the underbrush that seems to have been controlled burned. The trail remains pretty clear, passable, and relatively green. Almost like that they worked around the not burning the trail. So it's a nice day, and we're making really good progress. I'd say we're about halfway right now to our target, and doing pretty well in terms of timing. So it's only 10 a.m. So it means we've done about 9 miles, I'd say, by 10 o'clock. Not too shabby considering when we started. So feeling pretty good about it. So we're going to keep on pressing on and making our way. I'm pretty sure along this ridge, and there's going to be probably maybe more of these ledge overlooks where we might have a view. I can't say for sure, but we'll see. All right, everybody. That's where I came from, up this hill here. There's actually a shelter right there. You can see the roof of it. But that's not the shelter we're targeting today. It is about lunchtime. I kind of considered stopping there just to sit down and have lunch. But I'm going to have lunch a little bit later. Got a little bit of a tricky rock spot here I got to walk through, get over somehow. I don't know. And I think I probably ought to take the camera off to do it. But I haven't filmed a ton today. It's just so cloudy and overcast, there's really not a lot of views. So we're just doing a lot of walking through the woods and you know, just making miles, to be honest with you. It's just one of those days. So we still have about, I would call it 8 miles, I would say, to our shelter, the one I'm targeting. And we will just keep you abreast as we see anything and anything cool or interesting as we get a little further down the path. Right now I gotta get down these rocks. Check out this ravine, y'all. This is rough country, for sure. That's looking down right below me. It is tough. I'm most surprised that someone didn't decide to put the Appalachian Trail right down the middle of it. That would be about par. But it didn't look like I think we're gonna walk around the edge of it for a bit. That is rough country. Surprised there's not, I guess I'm surprised there's not water running through the center of it. But I don't see any evidence of any water. Onward and upward. This is called Benedict Pond. It's huge. This might be a lake where I come from. Maybe not. It's pretty big for a pond. All right, let's keep on pressing on. It's been awful dark and cloudy for the past few hours. Just been waiting for a downpour or something to begin, but so far I really haven't had any rain. It's been the weather's been kind of cool, which has been good for hiking. And every now and then you've got a good breeze, particularly on higher elevations, that will keep the mosquitoes off of you, and that's welcomed. But down here in this lower level, where you have these walking boards and swamps and ponds and things like that, you're gonna have those dang mosquitoes. But I was able to get some trail magic a couple miles back from an individual. He had a chair set up in his truck and set up, and he had provided me some a Gatorade, and I got an apple, and I got like a breakfast cookie for tomorrow. Looks pretty good. So that's very kind of him, but he's very local and he knows the trail very well. He asked me where I was going, and there's 2 shelters yet in front of me. One of them is the South Wilcox shelter, and I know a lot of people that's already going there, and it's most convenient, but and it's the first one you come to, obviously. But in terms of mileage, it sets me up for a longer day tomorrow if I stop there. My plan all along was go to the North Wilcox shelter. Now there's a lot of downside about going to the north one, is that it's 3/10 of a mile off trail, which is kind of on the edge of unacceptable for a lot of folks. Most people are not going to go that far off a trail. And it's downhill, which means you got to climb out of there in the morning. And there's a water source down there, which is great. You don't have to carry your water, but because it's wet down there with water, you have a lot of these mosquitoes. So my guess is, and this is more of a positive, is that most people won't go there. So you may have more mosquitoes, but you have less people. If you go to the more favorable one, you're going to be overwhelmed with people. And so yeah, I got some thinking to do on that one, because I just can't stop and then set myself up for a really long day tomorrow. I need to work my plan. So, but at the same time, I got to be flexible and be able to adjust on the fly a little bit. So it's 3 miles, it's 1.2 miles to the next shelter, call it 1. 3 miles to the shelter that I was targeting. And I think the other option I clearly have is to just collect some water and push on beyond that second shelter and see if I can find a flat spot to throw up a tent. Might be a plan as well. So I got a lot of things I got to think about here in the next hour and a half. I'll keep you posted how I work it out. Pretty cool rock wall going right up here. And of course, this is where we need to go. Right up to there. Let's get on it. Beautiful pond. For sure, I think I see a beaver in it. It'll be right behind that tree. I don't think he's coming to me, I don't know it. See those waves in the water? That's a beaver. There he is. That's old busy beaver. Okay. Well, you might can tell I have my umbrella up. And I was hoping to get to a campsite or do something before it started raining. Don't think that'll happen. So, since I won't make it to a campsite before it starts raining, I've been evaluating, do I go to a campsite or do I go to this shelter that's going to be buggy and it's 3/10 of a mile downhill? And I'm thinking to myself, let's revisit what I said this morning. The reason I was going to a shelter, any shelter, was to take shelter, get inside the shelter, because I did not want to be setting up my tent in the rain. I did not want to be taking my tent down in the rain. So for me, that forces me to realign my goals to what they originally started as, and that's to go to a shelter. There goes that beaver. He's putting on a show today. So I think my best opportunity to keep me and my stuff wet is to go to a shelter, okay? So at this stage in the game, the only shelter that's in front of me is the one that I was targeting going to. And I think if it's raining all night, there's probably not going to be a lot of bugs, mosquitoes in the rain, I wouldn't think. Anyway, and secondly, if it's going to rain all night, then these shelters really fill up. So everybody, they become very popular, okay? Everybody's going the same reason I'm trying to get to a shelter. The reason everybody else is trying to get to a shelter. Well, the majority of people are going northbound. They're behind me. They stopped at this shelter, the South Wilcox shelter. They're probably not going to the North Wilcox shelter. It's further, and as previously explained, it's 3/10 of a mile downhill, so it's not favorable. So I think I'll have less people, and that also makes this one a bit more attractive. So I've about made my mind up that I'm just going to stick with my original plan and go to the shelter. So we'll check it out as we get closer. We're all about a half a mile away. All right, everybody. We're approaching our home for the evening. We got a bear box. It's cool. Hopefully not a lot of bear activity. I mean, it's a nice setting. I kind of get what the local was telling me. It's setting low, you know, and you got some wet, muddy spots, which will attract bugs. There's no question about that. But, you know, it's raining right now. It's raining everywhere. And everywhere is going to have muddy, wet spots. So I don't know how you really avoid all that. The thing that I want to do, the thing I definitely want to avoid is, you know, getting really wet, get all my stuff wet, and I think my best option is staying inside the shelter. So we probably will have to fight some bugs, but I don't know if we wouldn't fight bugs pretty much anywhere. I've been fighting them all dang day. So, yep, there you go. There you go, I see you. All right, so it looks pretty good to me. I mean, the floor is not flat. I mean, it looks like it kind of falls off to the right, but you know, it's often hard to find a piece of ground that's perfectly flat, but I think it'll be just fine. I think it's gonna be okay. All right, I'm gonna try to get set up, get my stuff out of this pack before it all gets wet, and we'll figure out what we're gonna do for dinner. All right, everybody, it's been a pretty good day. We accomplished what we set out to do. And anytime you do that, it's usually a pretty decent day. So we had 18 miles today. Had targeted to come to this shelter, ultimately did. No regrets whatsoever. Trust me. That is not as good as this. It's much drier here for sure. And so far it's 5:30. Sorry about my hair, but you know, it is what it is. 5:30, and we haven't had any more people come here yet. I'm not sure we will at this hour, but you know, it's possible. But once the rain sets in, everybody's just diving for shelter. So I think if anyone was really close, they would be here by now. But there may be a few show up. We'll wait and see. But the strategy, one of the cool things about this shelter is it is 3/10 of a mile, somewhat downhill off of the Appalachian Trail. So it's not very accessible, I would say. It's not convenient, and nobody wants to walk further than they have to walk, and it doesn't count, right? So for that reason, this is not one that people would be targeting, but if they got caught in the rain, they would come running. So we'll just wait and see. If anybody comes, it's fine if they do. Right now, I'm happy that I'm safe and warm and in a good spot. So overall, a pretty darn good day. So no issues whatsoever. Look forward to getting after it tomorrow. Tomorrow could be rainy for the first 6 hours. From 6 a.m. till noon, it looks like it potentially could be wet. But you know, these forecasts also change in the course of a few hours. So it could be better, could get worse. I don't know. But the fact is, I'm here, and the only way I get out of here is I walk out of here. So my intentions are to pop up that umbrella and put some of these wet clothes back on. It's wet anyway, and take off. So we'll see how it shapes up.